It hurts. I can't bend my leg.
Is it diabetes?
No, fat, everything. I don't drink enough liquids. I'm old. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the podcast you didn't know you needed. I don't mind if you think I have too much going on here. Would you mind if I stay? No end of the story. Say hello, Josh.
Yo.
Brent, you have anything to add to that little gem?
You know, it sounded like a very spoken John Waite song the way you did it. Because
if I could,
I was going to follow up. I was going to follow it up by, though I'm trying hard to understand. It's like Shatner.
Yeah, well, I have to speak them because I have as you know, Brent, I have a horrible singing voice. But that was the opening lines of "Don't Let Up on the Big Picture, Baby."
You know, I meant to bring that up last week. In Ohio, they've been running, COVID commercials, and our tagline now, it was, about the social distancing. Now it's "Don't Let Up."
There you go.
And
Governor DeWine loves Night Ranger.
Governor DeWine he doesn't know who Night Rider is. That's probably what he'd call it.
Rider.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a missed opportunity there to promote the band, distance.
Yeah.
Get a hit. But I'm not in charge of this shit, so.
Exactly.
How you doing, Josh?
Yo.
You've seen the commercial, no doubt.
I have not. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, so we're here for this episode. I don't have any crazy introduction into this episode because this episode we're ranking Night Ranger's album covers.
All of those. Well, not that one.
Well, I know, but it's there.
but
Here, I'm gonna rank that one right now. This is, if it were in the list, is the worst album cover they've done.
Yeah.
I think we should throw it in there because it wouldn't be at my bottom. But
God, I can't wait to hear what the worst one is for Josh. We're probably on the same page. For the worst album cover.
It really is like, I equate it probably to like most of these album covers. It's just like reaching into the toilet and pulling out a turd. They're all turds. I mean, that's the one thing about Night Rangers. Some horrible, 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 horrible,
wow.
horrible, 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 horrible. I just like saying whore. But horrible album covers.
Yeah, the thing is, like, we talked about this, and this topic came up in my head. I was like, this is tough because we love this band.
Yep.
But my Lord, some of their covers, I'm like, I'm not a graphic designer. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I mean, there's just nothing there. And I'm like,
well, they weren't
I mean, one of my
bad.
favorite albums is ranked very low, only because the album cover is just there's nothing.
Their album covers, and I'm not giving anything away, but they didn't start being where they lost focus was Man in Motion. That's where it really, because, like I said, Survivor came out a week later with the same art director and photographer.
But see, we, the three of us, all grew up also loving Kiss. Now, Kiss has some freaking awesome album covers. I mean, Rock and Roll Over is iconic.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
Even their bad ones aren't horrible,
well, I mean, Lick It Up is a turd.
Yeah, but Lick It Up was them. Yeah, it was them coming out of makeup, and it's just them with a white
purple
back.
blazer, and I just like.
It's 1983. Brent had the blue one.
But I said we grew up with iconic album covers. Album covers used to be an art form.
Well, then Riot.
All right, well,
Riot had that baby seal on every one of their freaking covers. What the hell was up with that baby white seal on the Riot album
What's
covers?
up with that?
Yeah.
Well, let's save this discussion for the actual album covers.
All right, so let's move down. Wow, yeah, I don't know.
I'll spot you.
So, Yes, the previous episode, Josh, have we got? I've seen a lot of the feedback on the page. It's kind of been fun, and I've loved seeing people's lists. What have you got that you want to specifically talk about?
Well, for me, I was surprised at how many people's lists included Walk in the Future.
Yes.
And Crazy World, especially Walk in the Future. Soul Survivor seems to be a big one that a lot of people like. And
I was surprised by Penny. A lot of people mentioned Penny, and I don't know, maybe it's just me and Brent. That song doesn't resonate with me.
Well, it's an easy way to figure out who I don't like on the page. But
wow.
I'm like, I'm not listening to anything this person says. That's the great thing about these lists, though, is for us, as much as I think we're all in the same boat as we don't like Penny, the song and the person,
Acknowledge the person. I don't dislike the person. Just I didn't like her.
I would take out all my Night Ranger aggression on that song on her. Like, why? Why couldn't why couldn't your name be Ethel?
Because Andy would just marry her.
Andy married an Ethel. Anyways,
I did.
That should be an episode. Andy married an Ethel.
But did you ever point out that he mentioned your other ex-wife's name too?
Yeah, my other ex is Molly.
Yeah, you were talking about a Molly.
Yeah,
one time.
yeah.
You're like, you say Molly, I'm like, that's. I'm 2 for 2 in the divorces.
But I'm Coming Home got a lot of votes. And there was Sing Me Away is obviously on there. Reason to Be. A lot of people have, not a lot of people, but I've seen like the 2 other KK songs on Man in Motion. Here She Comes Again, and what's the other one? Right on You.
Yeah.
People have had those on the list.
I didn't see a lot of Interstate Love Affair. Am I kind of flying solo on that one? Or was there a
solo? I'm fine on Revelation. What the hell's wrong with you people?
I think
got some love for
there were some people with Revelation. I just think people tend to go to.
I hadn't seen any as of
I
today.
think people liked Soul Survivor was mentioned a lot more. I didn't see a lot of Interstate Love Affair. But to me, that's not a strong track.
Yeah.
Love Is Standing Near got a few. Craig Spots, who just posted today, he listed Interstate Love Song as number 6, and he's got Penny on his list. So what? Craig, what do you know, man?
Call him. Get him on the horn right now.
Come on, man.
Come on, son.
Lance Rushing had Tell Your Vision, a.k.a. Television, as number 1. He just posted. I haven't even.
That was his number 1?
Oh, hold on. Maybe he posted this list for Dwayne Vickers, who's in Facebook jail. So,
is he really?
Yeah. So maybe his is Tell Your Vision. He has Revelation on the list as well. Then, yes, that's Dwayne Vickers. Lance said he'll post his tomorrow. But it's just like I said, it's interesting to see everybody's Kelly Kagi list and what songs each person gravitates to, and to see how wrong some people are.
Yeah, I said I wish the list episodes would do more, because I love the back and forth with people, and I love to see the other people on the page their ideas, and see what songs hit them different ways, or whatever, what albums mean more to them. But anyway, it was fun. I can't wait to read all the comments and chime in when I get a chance.
Oh, and I need to make a correction on the last episode. I was wrong on the Roger Daltrey video. There was no video for that Jack Blade song.
Oh, okay.
Thought there was. Well, that way, I don't get the hate mail on YouTube and stuff like that,
Yeah. All right.
I confused it with another song.
So is that it? Anything else to talk about on that episode?
No, just keep posting the lists. I don't care if it's 3 weeks from now. I don't care if you hear this a year from now. Post, hey, I liked your episode on the Kelly Kagi songs. Sings Us Away. Here's my list.
Post it, and if you post it on the Facebook page, copy and paste and throw it on the YouTube page, or vice versa. Or you can also, I think, leave comments like on Spotify and some of those. post them there just, to get those things going as well. And everything we do is geared towards the YouTube page for the podcast, and then we just put the audio on other platforms. So if you're listening to this, go to YouTube and you can see the visuals, and click subscribe and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Josh.
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to look at all the people's lists. Where did Sister Christian? Did it make a lot of people's lists?
I don't know if you know what?
I didn't see it a
It
lot.
made a handful that I had seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably something when I saw, I wouldn't have paid attention to because I was looking
to
for.
throw you on the spotlight.
I was just looking for like the rare, songs, but I don't think it's on a lot of people's list just for the fact of, it's such a popular song. To me, it's just I ranked it that high just because. Just the emotion, that's the song you're going to hear on the radio, and you're going to be out and not expecting to hear Night Ranger. So, it wasn't on there a lot, but it was probably on a couple people's list.
All right, Brent, are you ready for the Night Ranger news?
Night Ranger news.
What news
we
got?
Yeah, do you have anything?
News, by the way, I lowered the news so that way it fits on the screen now. It just said Night Ranger new, which should have been used for the new stuff at parts. The only Night Ranger news I could find was that Jeff Watson and Fitz are still not in the band. That's the only thing that's the only news I have.
To our knowledge.
To our knowledge.
So well played, sir. Well played.
You can, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, Joel Hoekstra's got a new solo album coming out next, I think in January. So you can pre-order the CD, and you can, order the download. I did ask Joel about a vinyl release, and he's not sure, but right now it does not look like there is one.
What is he on Frontiers? Do we know?
I'm pretty sure that was it. I'll look it up here in a second, but yes, as far as the last conversation I had with Joel, he was going with Frontiers. So, unless something changed, but other than that, there's really nothing. I mean, if you Eric Levy is still posting his cool little videos on his Facebook page. Yeah, and Joel's on Frontier still. So go to Eric Levy's Facebook page, and about every other day he's posting something where he's just doing some hardcore jam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we do know. Go ahead, Brent.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if anything's gonna come out of that. I mean, some of it's so funky. Really, it could end up somewhere on a Night Ranger, like what was on Day and Night. Give me some of that funk, and they're kind of jamming around. I wonder how much of that stuff will actually end up in something he does, because it's obviously the man just hits a button and just goes.
Yeah,
which I love. He's just creating.
And that's what I was going to touch on real quick. Is we do know that Night Ranger is, I guess, in a pre-production of the writing phase.
Well, no, they're, from what we understand, is they are pretty much have stuff recorded, and they're putting more of the finishing touches on the album for a 2021 release. I mean, none of that's new. You'll hear it on Sirius Radio, and people are like, well, hey, we've heard this. It's been something known for the last few months. So there's going to be a new Night Ranger album in 2021. When? That probably depends on COVID and just, timing and everything else. So, but yeah, from what I understand, all the ideas are there, and they've done the recording, and they're kind of, putting everything together. So the album is well underway.
Let's get it on.
And Brad's got his solo album done.
It's been done.
Well, they're still writing.
See, the last thing I heard, he was done, and it was in the can. They recorded the video, and
I don't know about a video, but
yeah, he's got a video in the can too for Love. What's the song called? Love.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a video.
But right
Have we
now,
got a-
if they're not released, with them not really having a release date for various reasons, COVID and probably not wanting to compete with a Night Ranger album coming out until they know when it's going to be released, they are still kind of putting ideas together just to do stuff. So we'll see.
Great. All right. Has anybody got anything collectible wise? Anything new? Any purchases they've made in the past since the last time we've seen each other?
Brent, anything?
I'm waiting on my stuff to come in the mail.
I got
All right.
this.
Of course, it's Kiss stuff,
Was that
Yeah.
David Bowie, Princess Leia?
Yeah. Rebel.
With your buns in your hair.
I was out where I bought that from the last episode since Brent wasn't when I picked up that Midnight Madness vinyl.
Yeah, I was here.
This guy had this kind of I'm sorry, you were. I'm sorry. Anyway, the guy had kind of just knick-knacky stuff in his little shop, and I saw that, and it's just somebody prints pictures on dictionary pages, and I saw that, and I just kind of chuckled to myself. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. I'm gonna get that. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and tell everybody I'm a big, huge Bowie fan. I just think that's funny.
Well, there you
Rebel,
go.
Rebel.
He was calling him Bowie before we got on the air.
Bowie.
So I went and got the Ozzy Dreamer single that has Black Skies on there, which was written by Jack Blades, or co-written by Jack Blades. So my stereo system downstairs is kind of like the new technology. It's the Bluetooth receiver, the newer speakers. I still do, and I still have an old Techniques CD player, but I do have a new cassette player that I'm hooking up, so USB and all that stuff. But upstairs, it's the vintage Techniques. Everything is vintage, so I can't Bluetooth stuff in. So I was like, for $5 or whatever it was, and it's from Israel. It's got a little
Oh, that's
thing there.
cool.
To have Black Skies be able to crank that up was worth it. And then I've had this for a while. Michael Bloomfield. And it was in when we started this podcast, I started organizing more of my stuff. And I was going through, and I got a ton of records, not just over there, but in all those crates. And I was like, why is this over here? And I was like, it's like, did Bruce or Bob Kulick play on it? How they were on a lot of stuff from the 70s. It's kind of weird. And I looked real quick. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I must have just got it at a thrift shop and threw it in this one, which has, Night Ranger and Kiss. So I threw it over in this other one. So where I put it off to the side. And so today I was going through some stuff. I'm like, okay, where do I need to put this at? And I went through it. And then I realized, yes, there is a reason why I have this album over here. And here's the thing. I'm not going to post this on the page. I'm going to only show this on the podcast for like the first week the podcast is out. That way, if you're listening to the podcast, you now can go out and buy this before other people. Not that there's going to be a mad rush, but you can have the first opportunity to go online and buy this before others do. This, besides, Psalm 150, which Jack Blades was on in 74. If you look right here somewhere, you will see Bass by Jack Blades.
Get out.
I see Jerry Martini.
Yeah,
Well, it's three. It's actually 4 members of Rubicon are on 2 of these tracks. So, not sure exactly when this came out in 78, but this is very early Jack Blades Rubicon era. I would say it'd be after Rubicon because there's a song here called Sammy Knows How to Party. And then they're also on a track, all 4 of them, on Let People Dance. So if you're into vinyl and you're into collecting Jack Blades, this album here, I'll throw the picture up when the album is Michael Bloomfield, Count, Talent, and the Originals.
But now he's not pictured on it, is he?
He's not pictured on it. he is just mentioned 3 times as a bass player on those 2 songs, and then in the credits,
Got the water for people. Cowboy.
They are listed as a pure courtesy of 20th Century Records. So basically, 20th Century Records gave those guys from Rubicon permission to be on here.
Right.
So it's, I don't know, I'm sure it's on eBay or whatever, but 1978, just a Jack Blades record that's out there that if you're into collecting that stuff, there you go.
What was Michael Bloomfield's contribute? What did he contribute to the music business? Did he have a hit? I know the name. I just don't know what.
I'm going to Wikipedia right
Where's
now.
Doug Davis when we need him?
I know.
We got a friend that can tell you when a song charted, what number it got, and how many weeks, like easily. And he's not bullshitting. He's Rain Man. He knows this shit.
Well, he did not live too long after that. He passed away in 1981.
Yikes.
Became one of the first popular music superstars in the 1960s to earn his reputation almost entirely on his instrumental prowess. Since he rarely sang before 1969, he's ranked number 22 on Rolling Stone's 100 great guitarists of all time in 2003. He was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015. Yeah. So there is a Jack Blades connection to that. Too bad.
You got to take Rolling Stone's rankings with a grain of salt.
In the Hall of Fame.
E Street Band. Looking at you.
I like the E Street Band.
Yeah, but we already had that discussion.
Yeah.
Every member in the Hall of Fame.
It should be. Same with Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Kiss members weren't that good, and Ronnie James Dio wasn't good enough to be with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I know.
But hey, Pigpen from Grateful Dead, he's in there. Rightfully so. You know what it was? As Jerry Garcia said, we are not going to even acknowledge you guys unless you put everyone in there. And he stood his ground, and they eventually let everybody in there. You didn't see Paul and Gene standing their ground for Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick and any of those guys. They showed up in their ties and tuxes, and they were there. So
he said, "People,
all right,
my friends got to be in the Hall of Fame."
All right, where are we at?
We need to talk about
Andy Parker. Let me hear you.
In motion. Anything going on in Fans in Motion that we want to talk about?
People, I got some news for you.
Well, what are we supposed to do?
Fans in motion.
No.
I don't know what.
Here's our Fans in Motion news. Now, Andy, Josh, how you feeling out there tonight?
I don't remember what I was supposed to say. Good.
Do you feel hot?
Hot.
Do you feel like you got some soul going on?
Yes.
Do you think it's too hot in the hot tub?
Too hot in the hot tub.
It's too hot in the hot tub because James Brown made this really cool thing that he hung on his wall. It was too hot in the hot tub, and that's why he made it.
That was some work to get there. I like it.
Dude, I am right now pissed at James Brown for posting it. I thought
awesome.
I thought it was cool at first till we had to do that. Thanks, James. Hey,
this is what happens when Andy is, when I type in "I'm ready," and Andy's like, I need to know. I'll be there at 10.
Yeah.
So what we got there? We got the Rockstar cards from '85. That's across the top. The first two rows
in the middle.
That was like Wonder Bread or something. It looks like a ticket stub there on the right. You got the 7-Eleven coin. Yep. And the Night Ranger radio bumper sticker and some guitar picks. So if you're listening, James Brown basically took a frame and in each little pocket where there'd be pictures, put all that stuff in there.
He got creative.
Artsy.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I like seeing what the fans do with their stuff.
Well, it makes me feel like I'm less of a fan because I have nothing like that in my
you
house.
You got the Rebel.
Life.
Well, and if you remember, when we first started the page, people were posting a lot of their collections, and the only one I can remember is I think Dwayne Vickers has a room or an office full of all his stuff framed.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, what else we got on the
We
page?
have Tracy Lack, or is it Lock or Lack? Lock.
Sure.
Anyway, here she is with the boys with her Play Rough license plate. Thought that was kind of cool.
Is that?
You know, because if I were driving down the highway with some room to move, got a fast car and I saw the license plate, I'd be like, wow, I wonder if they're a Night Ranger fan. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the license plate.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then some fun developed this week on the page. Or
I mean,
I should say that.
Hold on,
What's
think
that?
about it. Like we're all super fans. I don't have a license plate. I never had a Night Ranger license plate. Like I suck.
Yeah, and 1 out of 50 people that see that, are Night Ranger fans. The other 49 think she likes handcuffs.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but either or. I mean, I don't have any of those things.
Either or, I would probably get it and put it in my car either way because both apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to do it one time, and when I found out it was, gosh, $75 extra a year.
Yeah.
Every year, I was like, the state of Ohio ain't getting that. I ain't that cool.
Hey man, we do that much coke in one night.
Oh.
You know what though? Now you say it, here in Lancaster, and I almost want to think, did that really happen? Probably 15 years ago, I swear, I saw a license plate that says 7 Wishes here in Ohio.
Oh.
You could have.
Yeah, I mean, I know I did. I remember where I was at and everything. It's just like, all right, that has to be a Night Ranger.
All right, so to the fans and motions that are out there, if you got a license plate, you got to put it up now. We want to see this stuff because that's a super cool. That's dedication right there.
So when that person got the 7 Wishes license plate, their buddy was at the BMV with them, and when the lady brought the plate, or the man brought the plate to him, his friend turned and said, "When you handed 7 wishes, did you put it on your car?"
Wow.
All right. Hey, do me a favor if you're listening.
Hey.
Keep listening. It will get better.
Hey.
What we got? What we got after Tracy?
We have our good friend Lisa Shibley is rushing the Christmas season a little bit with a little bit of Jack and Tommy.
Yeah,
And
Thanksgiving.
And then our good friend Bethany decided she was gonna add Steve Perry to the mix, which I just loved that. So I commented, and then Jack turned around and punched that little bitch right in the eye and gave him a black eye. See that there?
Yeah.
And
what happens?
And Tommy said, "That's what I call a chain reaction." And then Ted Nugent was yelling, "What the hell's going on in there?" And he walked in and saw the black eye, and he put an arrow through Steve Perry's head.
Are you on drugs?
And then after he put the arrow through Steve Perry's head, I saw that Tommy changed his jacket because he's got that little picture on there. And lo and behold, they are not Steve Perry fans.
All right, so if you're listening to this, none of this makes sense. But there was a picture
this is the visual part.
There was a picture of Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw and a whole bunch of hijinks.
And they wrote a song called "Perry Christmas Sleigh." It was unreleased on that last album.
What else we got? Let's move on.
And okay, this I'm humbled by. I've been wanting to tell you guys since we did the last show. This came in the mail to me. I was holding it out of the new stuff, but I was humbled by this, and I've been keeping it under wraps because I wanted to debut it on the show. I got an award.
Yeah?
Yeah. I got a Buckeye News Hawk Award for excellence in podcasting fans of motion news. Josh, as you can see here, I'll blow it up for you. Check that out.
That's nice. It's not a Silver Sow Award, but
no, I haven't done my pigs and farm market stuff,
hog features.
But check that out. Excellence in broadcasting. Brent Walter.
For those that don't know, Buckeye News Hawk Award and the Silver Sow Award is what Les Nessman from the
wow. And that's why I'm so honored.
WKRP in Cincinnati. 7-time winner of the Buckeye News Hawk Award.
I was so honored, and when I told them I also don't have walls, they said, "Well, you have wall in your name. That's all you're going to get."
There you go.
So yeah, I was fine with that. But yeah, there's my Buckeye News Hawk Award, lifetime achievement. It's hanging right above my toilet right now.
And
fuck you too. You didn't get one, but I couldn't have done it without you too. So I thank you for your support.
well, that's what you're here for. And if you if you're now you're going to be listening to this after Thanksgiving, but what's the name of the episode with WKRP? Turkeys Away. That's right.
Turkeys Away.
So if you have not ever seen that, WKRP, Turkeys Away, only the best thing ever. What else we got for Fans in Motion?
Hang on real quick, Josh. On that topic, I just saw a post on Facebook where there was somebody ranked the top 10 Thanksgiving episodes of sitcom television, and that episode was ranked number 1. It's the funniest Thanksgiving. I just rewatched it, and I sat in my living room and just laughed. It's just so funny.
Yeah, all season 1's good. Fish Story from WKRP, and season 2 has a good one. Carlson for President is a good one.
I mean, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah.
Well, who's the creator of that show, Josh?
Hugh Wilson.
He worked at a radio station in Atlanta, and evidently that happened.
Oh, come on!
I was doing some research after, about getting the entire series on DVD. I found a thing, and he worked in Atlanta, and some of these stories came from Atlanta, and supposedly the person said that's where he got the turkey idea from.
It's fantastic. Anyway,
so if it really happened and you live in Atlanta, tell us. But anyway, I'm flattered. Guys, thank you. I like to share it with you, but I only have one.
I scratch my face here.
So,
also,
when you get your Buckeye News Hawk, hey.
Also on the page, Dave Nadelman got his new Rubicon record. So it looks like he bought it, and then
good job.
Jeff Holbrook said he just got his 2 days ago. So they're out there buying up some vintage Rubicon.
Driving up the Rubicon stock.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Doug Davis, who I mentioned earlier, bought me one of those back like in 1986, a used copy, and gave it to me.
So Jeff and Nadelman, you guys need to get American Dreams now. That's the second Rubicon album.
That's where the genesis of bad album cover started for Night Ranger.
Those actually probably rank higher, as bad as him. Kathy Kirkman Lane had a good question about, and we'll eventually talk about this in 97, 98, somewhere around there. Jack Blades was a part of Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. Yes. He was really only with them for a short amount of time, and probably the most exposure that Jack and Night Ranger got was Jack being with that band and then them doing a VH1 episode of maybe Storytellers. But back in the late 90s, it was on all the time. And Jack is right there next to Ringo. Him and Ringo talk. I remember there is some banter between them, and Jack does like an English accent and stuff. And they were wondering, it's out. You can get it on CD, but you can't get it on DVD legally. It is out there illegally. Yeah. But and was asking why, and honestly, I don't know. The only thing I think of is right now, if you went to release it, you're going to have to license Beatles songs, which aren't cheap. And are you going to regroup your money selling that DVD 20-some years later? Probably not.
And so. VH1 owns the film, so
yeah,
I'm sure they own the film.
So whoever decides to release that, I just don't think you're going to make your money back. Right. And then J.C. Powers did another contest, but
we discussed that the other day.
So there you go.
Is that it? Fans in Motion stuff? Nothing else?
I think so.
Website's still up and running. Everybody's checking that out. I just checked it out.
Scrolling review around. And iTunes and all the places you download your podcast. Yeah, even though we're probably going to talk about that at the end of the show too.
The first place that what happens is the podcast will be released usually on Tuesdays at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. So it'll go on YouTube, and I'll post it to the Facebook page, and I'll post it to the website, and then from the website pushes it to all the other platforms, and it could take 2 hours. it can take 24 hours till it hits the other platforms. So the first place you're going to be able to listen to it is either the website, which if you go to the website and you actually go to the podcast part, you'll see the YouTube link. And then below it, it's kind of hard to see, but it's there. It's just a bar, which is an MP3 bar where you can listen to it on the website. So, if you want, if you can't wait to hear your Night Ranger talk, go to YouTube. If not, you just got to wait for it to upload to the other platforms.
We're the only ones doing it, so at least somebody's doing it, even if it's us knuckleheads.
Damn tootin'.
Damn Yankees.
There you go. All right, so moving on. Anybody have any new music that they're listening to right now? Anything, even if it's not Night Ranger related? Anybody got anything that they're really pumped about?
I'm still on the same old. I'm still listening to the Diamond Rex Psych Ward. It's my album of 2020. The new South of Eden out of Columbus, Ohio. It's pretty good. They just released a new EP. You can get that on iTunes. And other than that, I listened to a shitload of Kelly Keagy last week. So,
yeah,
I'm still cranking the new AC/DC.
How is that?
I haven't got it yet.
It's AC/DC.
Well, but Black Ice wasn't that great, and his voice is going like this. It sings out,
That's exactly how I want to sound.
Pokey, it's just not.
It's good. I mean, it is AC/DC. I mean, I don't know what else you're expecting.
Right.
There is a song. Oh, what the hell is it called? Through the Mist of Time. That is probably the closest to a ballad you're ever going to hear from AC/DC.
Really?
It's actually really cool. It's I think they maybe Ride On's to me is more like a blues a little bit. Like a slow blues. This here, just listen to it and you'll know what I'm talking about, basically. But it's the closest to, I think they wrote it about Malcolm, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. But, you're not going to go wrong with it. It's just throw it in your car and scare,
I always thought of Hell's Bells as a ballad, so,
you
got me ringing.
All right, stop acting like Brent,
I
Andy.
really think I think it's cool that they put out an album. I had heard rumblings that it was happening after the Brian Johnson fiasco and not being touring with with Axl Rose and what have you. I think it's really cool. They regrouped. Phil Rudd, I guess, got off the crack. He got arrested, I think, for having crack cocaine. Isn't that what it was? Was it heroin?
Rudd that had the hit put out on somebody?
Yeah.
Who?
It was Rudd.
Rudd.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He tried to get somebody murdered.
But he looked good on the pictures,
I saw them with Axl Rose, and I was very surprised how good Axl was with them. I was going because I'd seen Axl with Guns N' Roses like 2004, when it was just a mess and who knew who was up there, and they really didn't have Chinese Democracy wasn't out yet, and I
4 years.
I saw him in Cleveland. Like I said, it's probably 2007. I apologize. 2007, and it was at Gund Arena or whatever. That's what it was then.
Yeah.
They didn't come on stage till 1:30 for an arena show that started at 8.
It was the same thing here. As Joey went.
Shocker.
But anyways, I was less than impressed, maybe for other reasons, but so I wasn't going into the whole AC/DC thing expecting much, but I left thinking, damn, that could actually work with, if they never got Brian Johnson back, because Axl did a great job on every song and they were good. So I was impressed.
Well, there you go.
All right, let's kick into it, boys.
Well, as we stated earlier, we are going to rank in descending order album covers of
from rank to the best.
So we're going to break this into two categories because collectively, I think Josh had pointed out that we're ranking 19 album covers. So you have 5 live albums, if I'm reading my notes correctly here. And then there'll be the regular 12 albums, and there's a greatest hits album mixed in there.
Well, we threw in and we'll go over the list, but yes, there's 12 studio albums, but we threw in the greatest hits, and then we threw in both versions of Hole in the Sun.
Right.
Yeah.
So we starting with the live albums first. Is that what I?
So let's go with the live albums. So this should be a top 5.
Yeah, and let's say this does not mean we don't like the album. It's just
we're just
the album cover.
Basically, we're running out of shit to talk about, so this is what we came up with.
Well, there's stuff that we're waiting on responses from people, and
so
it's
here,
the holidays.
And I'll go in order of when they were released, just real quickly. Live in Japan, Rock in Japan '97, Rock in Shibuya 2007, 24 Strings, and then 35 Years in a Night. Whatever those titles are, I know I'm forgetting another sentence or something afterwards. So we'll start with those 5 live albums. Brent, you want to start it off?
I sure will. I will start it off. Love the record with the acoustic concert.
24
strings and a drummer, pardon me. What was I thinking? There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
It's not terrible. It's just an acoustic guitar. It has nothing to do with the drummer at that point.
Right.
No sticks.
No love for Kelly.
And I'm guessing that is some kind of like tapestry in the distance with the. You probably can't see
Here's
it.
the thing.
There we go.
We shouldn't have to guess on an album cover.
It's a lot of work.
I'll go next. What the hell? But
the drummer didn't get any love on that, even though they got the title. It was like me being in Triax and Brent, 3 guitars and a drummer.
Mine, and this would be at the bottom of any list I did. If you threw these in the studio albums and we did them together, this would be the bottom. Is Rock in Japan '97, because Rock in Japan '97 is the closest we ever came to an album not being about Night Ranger, but about being a person. It almost is like an AC/DC album sometimes, where it's Angus on the cover and that's it, because Fitz and Kelly are, basically not even on the cover. It's kind of
they're there. They're just in the distance.
Well, and it's a warped cover. The picture kind of is, so
fisheye lens, I think they call it.
So, listen, Kelly and Fitz aren't on the album cover, basically. And Jeff and Brad are regulated to the far side. And the album cover is basically Jack Blades. And, yeah, that's why it's it's Night Ranger. No matter how bad the album cover's been, it's always been Night Ranger. And this one here was Jack Blades front and center. So I'm not for that. So that is my number 5.
I don't have any rhyme or reason to why mine are in order they're in, because, as I stated earlier, that they just have not great album covers. So my number 5, just because it's just where I put it, is Rockin' Shibuya. I don't have a reason. It just had to be number 5.
You don't have it either.
Although Josh also almost sold me on Japan '97. I was like,
hey,
you know what?
Listen,
that's a pretty good argument.
Listen, you got to start making up reasons so it's somewhat listening. You're expecting people to listen to, hey, there's nothing here, but listen. All right. So we'll snake back around. Close your eyes and throw a dart and give us your number 4.
Rockin' Japan '97.
All right. You want to steal my reason?
For all the reasons Josh said. I mean, and it's funny, I actually did look at that cover, and I thought to myself, am I missing something? Because it seems like there's only 3 people on the cover. And then when you start talking, I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. And that was, like I said, I almost moved mine to make that now my number 5. But I was like, I'm not going to scratch out any more on my list. I'll leave it where it sits.
Yeah, just, I mean.
But you're right. I mean, it makes sense.
Well, they are all 5 there. Let's make it clear. They are there. It's not clear that they are. You have to look for it. I'm sure on the vinyl you can see them much better than you can on the CD, Josh. I know you got the vinyl.
All right. Yeah, but they're still,
I know.
Half the album, they're not even off in the distance. They're on the edge, barely seen.
And then you wonder who designed that cover. Like, did the band have any say, or was it really just some guy?
I think it was just Zero Records. It came out in Japan.
They at that time, listen, the band has say over this stuff. This wasn't a reissue. This is something they're signing on with those guys. They have some say in that. It isn't like it's like rock.
Well, the CMC artists never had say in it. For the most part. You look at all those covers.
They had say in it. Now,
you,
Rock in Japan '97, they had say in that. But when they license that stuff out afterwards, and it ends up on these other discs, no say. But this here, they had say in it. They've had say in probably every album cover that we are talking about.
I would hope so, but I can't. You can't confirm that though.
Oh, I can't.
Cannot.
All right, I can't confirm a lot of stuff, but they would have say in that.
Well, it's like I remember when Belly to Belly came out. Janie Lane was appalled. He hated that album cover. Yeah. Warren had nothing to do with it. CMC just, and same with Ultraphobic.
We're talking way too much already about album covers, let alone.
Well, I'm just saying
one specific cover.
That's what I like when we get to Frontiers. I think Frontiers has pretty much control over the Frontier stuff too. But anyway,
Josh,
my number 4,
please.
Mine.
No, it's Josh.
Mine is.
I just said Josh.
Oh.
24 strings, just because I didn't even know what was on the album cover when I started ranking. He's like, "What the hell's on there?" And it's brown. So, it's just, it is what it is. Which I don't know what it is. It's a acoustic guitar at a weird angle, and supposedly a tapestry or something's on it too.
It's artistic, man.
So, but at least it's the Night Ranger logo, not just a person.
Brent, do you have a number 4?
I have a number 4, and Josh, I think you even said that the band didn't know this album was coming out. I know you said they didn't know the Greatest Hits was coming out. Is that correct?
Well, if you're talking about Live in Japan from '89, or from '90, yes. Kelly Kagi told me that himself, that they had no say. They had no say in that, and he thought what was funny is now again though this is different from the studio albums. When you're talking about these greatest hits and they're still owed stuff, you're talking a little bit different. But the Live in Japan where it says produced by Night Ranger, he just thought that was funny because they didn't have a say. Right. But when Night Ranger broke up in '89, they still had 2 records left, and Greatest Hits and Live in Japan filled that. So what's your number 3?
Well, I was going to say the reason this got number 4 is because it looks like something a bootlegger did with paint splatters on it. The paint splatters are irrelevant. And it's just the whole package is just thrown together. The best part about the CD is the back cover with the pictures. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I walked into Camelot Music and I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was coming out.
Yeah.
So
what's your number 3?
Oh, back to me again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Rocket Shibuya. Now, for all you that don't have this record, it's very expensive. Andy, I'm talking to you right now. I was on Discogs last week, and somebody was selling it for like $35, and normally it's got a price tag of $85 or higher.
Okay.
It's out of print on CD. I think you can download it, but the cover is not bad. The problem I have with it, it's all the they use the Skinny logo on the cover, okay?
Yeah. And
the Skinny logo has 3 bars, as you can see, and the chevron at the bottom, which they deleted the top one, so therefore they re-skinnied the current logo. Then on the back, it's a big logo. It's like when Nigel is like folding and he gets because in here there's nothing in here, and then here there's a little guy. It just the inconsistencies on it. Just They screw with my OCD.
Jesus Christ. I've known you for a lifetime, and you still sometimes baffle me. The
Why?
stuff you could pick out. it's
Well,
odd
it's
to me.
obvious. It's two different logos. You don't. You stay consistent.
There you
don't
go, Josh.
fuck
What do you
with
think
it.
about that? Get in your face, Flanders.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have a number 3?
35
Excellent.
years.
25 years and a night.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's all of them on the front, and yeah. I mean, the whole package is good. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah.
but we're just ranking the cover.
Right.
So, it's the band, and it's a good photo, and I like it. It's simple. There's a logo, the title, black and white photos. So that is my number 3.
3. All right. My number 3 is Live in Japan, the one Brent just had up. And kind of like he said, it looks a little like a bootleg. And I kind of agree with him on that. I was like, I mean, look, I love it. It just looks like a bootleg.
Yeah, we're lucky to have it.
So I'll take it. Again, it's just a cover. I don't have any hard feelings about it. So my number 2 will be 24 Strings and a Drummer. Because it's kind of artistic. I don't know.
It's as Josh would
I
say,
don't
it's
love
shit
it. I
brown.
don't
That's
hate
why
it.
it's
It's
number
just
2.
like,
Number 2.
it's
Give
there.
it.
Well, listen, art should be something you see and it connects with you and you remember it. I've had that album and I've seen that album for 8 years. And when I did this, I'm like, what in the hell's on the cover? I know there's like the title in the bottom corner, and I know it's brown. I'm thinking there's like a guitar on it, but I don't know, So
I'm speaking from a musician's point of view. I looked at it and saw it as a guitar, and I appreciate the surface of the guitar.
you don't have to be a musician
How about that?
to see that it's a guitar.
How about that?
It's not a very memorable photo of a guitar. But
I was trying.
I think the back of it with a logo above their head would have been a better representation of what the record was.
I just like the fact that they pointed out and a drummer. We'll give him that. That's one reason.
Yeah. Triax and Brent.
Josh, do you have a number 2? Number 2.
Rock and Shibuya. I like the skinny logo, and I like the photos on the front showing, them performing. So, yeah, I mean, I like the, the blues and the yellow and stuff in it, and it's
I don't have a problem with the colors of it.
So
There you
that's
go.
my number 2.
Brent.
Okay. The reason this ranked higher than either one of you two, from my Rock in Japan.
Yeah.
And part of me, I was holding back, Josh. When this first came out, there was a limited edition version that, you put this over the book and it was a 3D cover that moved. Part of me thinks the cover was based off the 3D. Can you see it going back and forth
Well, I
there?
can see it going back and forth, but the only person
But I think that's why the cover was chosen.
well,
That's
still,
what I.
it's Jack Blades moving.
But see, I have an affinity for 3D. I love 3D stuff. This TV behind me is a 3D TV.
So
You guys are in 2D. You look better in 2D.
you know what you could have did? You could have did something like Live in Japan, but made the little squares bigger, and each member, could have been moving instead of just Jack moving, and maybe Brad Gillis on the side. I know sure as hell you ain't seeing Kelly and Fitz moving on that damn thing. So, yeah, that's my.
Yeah, they're moving because Jeff turns almost all the way around, and Brad's got his head turned like this when you do it.
That's riveting.
By the way, this podcast was filmed in 3B. 3 beers and it still looks good, eh?
Take off, Ozer. Brent, do you have a number 1?
I have a number 1.
That
Please.
was his
My number
one.
one is 35 Years in a Night in Chicago, because
you
my
go.
buddies Andy Parker and Gary Kelly are out in the audience, and some of our other buddies on the page are in the audience, and I think it was cool that the audience is on the cover. It's got the proper logo. Could have been in color. It would have looked better in color. But yeah, I think it's a cool cover. I think it was a cool representation of that night. They captured that night in that picture, in my opinion. So that's why it's my number 1.
Nice.
So I gave that to you, Andy.
I can't disagree with you.
But it's not in 3D.
Josh, do you have a number one?
My number one would be Live in Japan, and I disagree with you guys on the bootleg part. To me, I like the black and red. I like
the black and red. I don't disagree with that.
I like the black and red. I don't mind the spray paint. Hell, it's 90s, but it's still cool. I like the logo, and every picture of them on the front looks cool. That doesn't happen. Where on any other Night Ranger album do all of them look cool?
Big Life, sir. Thank you.
Oh yeah, with Brad and the business light coat or whatever and stuff.
Hello.
Yeah, so they all look cool on the cover. Jesse Bradman's is probably the worst photo on the album, but Jack looks cool. Jeff looks cool. Brad, Kelly, they all look cool on the cover. That doesn't happen.
Hole in the Sun.
Oh,
sir?
Yeah. Fuck. Jeez, I forgot about that one.
In silhouette. Thank you.
So to me, and even if we put this on the studios, that would be my number one album cover. I don't mind. I don't have a thing against the skinny logo. I like it. I liked all the colors. I like the fact that they're all on the cover, and they use good photos, which using good photos is not usually Night Rangers.
Strong arguments.
Don't agree with him.
What's your number one, Andrew? Did you
My number one, Brent, if you could put it back up, is 35 Years and a Night. Just like my boy Brent said, hey, I was at that show. I was over Brad's Kelly's side.
You were over here.
And I love it because I was there. And that album means so much to me. And it was such a great night. And that picture, like Brent even said, it captures the fans. So if I have to put thought to a live album cover, that's my number one.
Now, I was supposed to go to that show with you.
You were.
But remember why I pulled out?
I don't.
Because you were, because Gary couldn't stand whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or couldn't sit in the back seat, and Andy's got this small car, and I was not going to sit because we were going to go straight there in Chicago, 6.5 hours away, and then turn around and come 6.5 hours back, and I was going to be in the back, I don't know.
You missed a legendary night.
I know. I should have won. I should have sacrificed, but I did not want to sit in your back seat, so that's why I didn't go. That's the only reason I didn't go.
That is it. Thank God. Let's get on to the albums. Let's rank these things.
Okay, so wait. Are you gonna go? Yeah, Andy, you started off. We're gonna do
I'll
one.
I'll start it off. I had this ranked last, even including the live albums. This is the to me, again, in a sea of bad album covers. And God, I mean, if Night Ranger, if any of the guys are watching this, we love you, but Jesus Christ, these album covers are rough. Hole in the Sun, Japan, it's the number what?
14. There's 14 now album covers.
14. It's number 14 for me. It's just, to me, it's just like the whole album. I've said it before. This album felt like it was just a throwaway. The cover felt like a throwaway. Hole in the Sun, Japan.
Yeah, and
already change my mind. Fight me.
Well, you got a sticker. If you with that album cover in I think the Japanese version. So, okay. If you loved it so much, you could also.
Hang on. Let me change my ranking.
There's a sticker right there.
Let me change my ranking.
There's a sticker.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all the way up to the next 7. You can move them about anywhere.
That's where I was. I mean, you get to my final 5 or 6. These are all they could be interchangeable. It doesn't matter.
My number 14 or my last one is Neverland. This is your comeback album.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hit them hard. Let's make a point. And there's just nothing cool about it. The logo's blurry. The Neverland text isn't that great. It blends in with the black waves in the background.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. It's just a blue.
I feel like
Microsoft Works.
They went in and said, "Hey, we need an album cover in 3 minutes," and they beat that time.
And the guy's like,
Like,
I'll give it to you in a minute.
Yeah. Like, here, I still got 230 to spare. So my number 14 is Neverland.
I can't disagree.
Okay. This
Right.
is one of my favorite Night Ranger albums.
Yes.
It made my top 5. But Don't Let Up. What the fuck does a car have to do with Night Ranger? It's like Josh's shirt. Josh, that shirt does not represent the band. The Eagle. They try to. We're not bikers.
Well, listen, it's got the eagle, it's got American flag, and it's got
that's all cool. But it's done wrong.
Barbed
you can
wire.
still rock in America.
It just whoever's doing their stuff, guys. I got shirts designed in my system. These guys have seen them. They're better than that. They're better.
They are.
I can help you out tremendously.
Here's the thing: is people like American flags and eagles.
I can put American flags and eagles in it. It's done wrong.
That's fine. I'm wearing it. But
well, got a Detroit cap on too. So what's that tell you,
Josh? It looks good on you.
But yeah,
it looks good on you.
But Don't Let Up.
You get a free bowl of soup with that.
Is it's not. I get it. It don't relate to an album, but at least it's something. I know what I'm looking at.
What's that? Don't Let Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I remember when I got it, I was like, okay, well the license plate's cool, but it's just when I think of Night Ranger, I don't think of hot rods racing in mud or whatever they're on. They're on blacktop for the record.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Right.
The coolest part about the whole packaging was that the CD was actually a wheel. So at least it had some continuity to it.
Yeah.
Unlike skinny logo, fat logo.
And that's what we asked for, right? At this point. So
my OCD was doing all right that day.
So what's 13?
Going back to me again?
Yeah,
we got to go with the Japanese version of Hole in the Sun.
What? Shocker.
Yeah, there was some thinking going on.
Was there?
Yeah, I think it was more or less to hide Michael Laugherty because he didn't look like he was part of the band. So that's why they came up with that. Or the record company came up with that, in my opinion.
The same guy, he just said, give me 30 seconds, and you can still run to the vending machine and have plenty.
And there's no this is the most alternate you get on the back is a different silhouette of them, but
I don't even think that they're trying to hide Michael Laugherty, because the next year they released Rockin' Shibuya and it had Red Beach and
I know. I was just joking.
Well, I'm just saying.
It was a joke.
Well, I'm just saying. I just think that
it was a joke, and you fell for it.
That they're trying to be artsy a little bit, and it just didn't quite work.
So,
all right, Josh, you have a 13?
My 13 would be 7.
All right.
Just for the fact, they're all on the cover, but they don't look. You think about Night Ranger live, and then look at that album cover, and it's like, all right, that does not represent the Night Ranger that I know. It's just, I don't know. It's like looking at pictures of my parents or something, It's like
there's old-timey photos.
And I love that album. That's my one of my favorite albums by them, and it's just nothing. It's like, hey, I want an album cover that lacks all originality, like everything. I want 1% there.
Done.
That's actually hard. That's like playing Keno and trying to get none of the numbers. That's actually pretty hard to do. You actually win money if you get 0 numbers. And I think that's actually hard to make an album cover this bad. But time and time again, they succeed. So, my number 13 is 7. I liked, Brent, I think maybe you did it as well. The Japanese CD comes with a different booklet. I put that in as my cover for the Japan, just so I didn't have to see that. It's just a black with the logo, and I think it says 7. It's
here. I'll show it to you. I have it here.
To me, that would have made a better cover.
but it's got kind of a marble look to it that's reminiscent of Neverland a little bit.
But at least
It looks like a countertop.
But it stands out a little bit. You got the logo and like the 7.
You got the first logo in Japan.
Well,
Like I said, in America, when it came out on CMC Records, they altered the logo and made it the current one.
But
it's the closed arch.
To me, that's a better cover than, and that's not even designed to be a cover. So that's my number 13.
Number 13 for me is Greatest Hits. Because, I mean, it had to be somewhere, and that's where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Big Life photo shoot. It's
like we said, Josh. I think you said it. The next 7 are completely interchangeable.
It's the Big Life photo shoot, put in a factory.
Yeah.
If you look in the background, it's a factory. It's kind of like they've airbrushed it some. If you look at Jack's cheeks, they're real rosy red.
They all are very colorful.
Oh my God, that makes it even worse.
But
they took a black and white photograph and airbrushed it. It's what they did, I believe.
What is Night Ranger Big Life era doing in a factory? But hey, whatever.
They're a hit machine.
Hey, there you go. See, that bumps it up on my list now, just with that.
There you go.
So, Andy, what's 12 then?
Number 12 for me is Hole in the Sun again. The American version. Because it's horrible.
But at least it has a hole in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, at least, I give him that credit.
What the hell does that even mean?
Well, there's a hole in the sun. It's the title track.
I mean, this list is getting me just irritated the more I look at it. And I love this band. If we ever get any of the guys on that were Jack or them, they're just going to rip us a new one if they watch this episode.
No, they're going to say we had nothing to do with a lot of that. Josh, you're wrong. We had nothing to do with
that.
Please tell me they had nothing to do with it.
And then I'll just say, hey, you guys got bad management. You should have a say, at least a say, like, hey, give me 5 options, and I can choose one of my 5.
We get down to our top 3. Then we'll have discussions like, well, you clearly had a choice in these album covers.
Yeah,
or a better graphic designer. So anyway, Hole in the Sun again. It's crap. Moving on. Josh, your number...
Yeah, we're just batting the same stuff around here right now. My number 12 is Hole in the Sun from Japan.
For the same reasons.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. I mean, the only thing I like maybe is a little bit like the blue and gray. It's something different, a color scheme they'd never used. I'm pulling shit out of my ass right here. I don't fucking know. That's the only thing I can think of.
It sounds not good at all.
Yeah, it's like, all right, it's a different color scheme than I've seen a Night Ranger album, but yeah, I mean the booklet, like everything else is okay. Like they did the booklet really well. But yeah, it's whatever.
Well, what I like is, if you look closely on the Japanese version, there's actually lines of definition separating their bodies that they drew on. See them?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look if you look at the CD, they disappear. Yeah. They're not there.
Oh, there you go.
So, that was the first draft. That was the final draft.
That's them lacking consistency from the cover to the CD.
That's why I pointed it out.
Brent, what is your number 12?
Hole in the Sun, USA.
God,
I don't even own that one. So
we are just a bunch of jags here.
Like I said,
same album over and over. All right, we'll just go on to your number 11 then.
Okay, number 11 and number 10 are kind of interchangeable. So when I get to number 10,
yeah, I mean at least we should be getting some new blood by now.
Yeah, Hole in the Sun should all be in the background almost for us.
Everybody listening, this should be your last album.
It was my first disappointment in Night Ranger album covers, which would be Man in Motion.
Yeah,
one of the greatest albums made, but such a disappointment in an album cover. I mean, now, granted, the colors in the sky, they're freaking beautiful. The silhouette of the ground, that's fantastic. But
But did you like Survivor's album cover better?
No, the Survivors was worse. Night Ranger got the goods a week before Survivor did, but that should have been the album cover with all that
Yeah.
shit behind them. Where I've seen an advertisement, I think, for it. That's the way they had it, or was it a bootleg even, where they used it? Um, I mean, and plus when you elongate the logo, it's kind of hard to read. So they were destined to fail with the album cover, with the bad logo. And Josh, back to you.
Well, I guess we weren't done with Hole in the Sun because I got Hole in the Sun, the U.S. version. Like I said, at least.
Oh, you didn't do both of them? I thought you did.
I thought I did too, but I had 7 in Neverland up there.
I think he's done Hole in the Sun 3 times. It's so much how much he dislikes that cover.
But yeah, at least it had some color to it, and there was a sun, and there was a hole.
The promo was better. I got a promo of it that doesn't even have a book.
So,
it's still sealed upstairs. There's nothing. It just has a CD inside.
So yeah, that's my number 11. Now we are done with Hole in the Sun.
Wait, I think I have it again. It's so bad I ranked it again. So number 11 for me, again, I say this with peace and love to this band. I love these guys. This is actually quite possibly my favorite album by them, but Neverland is just, I can't even add to what Josh said. It's like they gave a guy 3 minutes and he gave him back 30 seconds later. I was like, done. What else you need? You need some cool merch? I can do that too. I mean, this is such a great album. And like you said, the comeback album. This was them coming back, and this is what you give us? Jesus Christ.
You know what? And they
You could have taken pictures of satellite dishes. Oh, wait, you did that.
And they had a cool shirt from that time period, like I can't remember now, had a moon and a highway and stuff on it. That, hell, even that would have been.
That wasn't a cool shirt, Josh.
I'm not saying it was a cool shirt, but what I'm saying, I mean, it was
more effort went to the shirt.
It was an okay shirt. I didn't mind it, especially being in the '90s. But yeah, I mean, something like that could have been, if you had that artwork drawn up somewhere for that tour, throw that on the album.
Keep it in mind, this band's first major tour was with Kiss, the masters of merchandising. Did they learn nothing?
Well, they only toured with them for 2 weeks, so.
They'd heard of them.
And some of the shows were canceled.
Covers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the masters of merchandise, when we went to that show, had a black shirt and a white jersey. They had a hat.
Just forget it. All right, number 10.
And that's it. And then like a week later is when they got the tour books in. So now that tour book is worth like $250, and I don't have one.
Number 10 for me, just briefly more exciting than Neverland, is Somewhere in California. It's a road and a Night Ranger logo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like they're. It's like when you're picking tiles for Scrabble, and it's like, all right, Jack, pull something out. He's like, I got the Night Ranger logo. I was like, done. Brad, I got a road. Perfect. Love it. I got the horizon. Done. Kelly, all right, the three of us combined to put an album together. Let's do it. I
was just happy they put it like a horizon.
And it's a great album, Jesus.
And stuff in there. What's sad is it's about halfway up the list. So, but yeah, it's what. Yes, I agree with you. My number 10, for about the same reasons as Brent, is "Don't Let Up." Again, it just. Yes. Yeah. Okay, you get an A for effort. I'll give you that.
Do you?
Well, after Hole in the Sun and 7 in Neverland, yeah, you get. It looks like there was some effort there, and you at least had, the wheel on the CD and everything. And you know what? Yes, there is going to be part of the public that likes the cars and everything, but yeah, just it didn't really have anything to do to me with Night Ranger or the album. So that was my number 10.
Brent?
Okay, let me tie in what Josh was talking about with Don't Let Up. I kind of figured something out. This is why I think they have no control at
You're still sticking to this.
At Frontiers, okay? The person at Frontiers is obviously a car person, okay? Because not only did they have the car on there, they put the fucking road on this CD. Okay? So we got the pavement on here from Don't Let Up. We've got the horizon from Man in Motion. I mean, that's Man in Motion back there again, all over again.
That's at least that makes it exciting.
See that? I mean, so when we do this, I've already got the artwork made for this. When we do this episode, yes, the Man in Motion is in the orange part of the horizon, walking when this pops up. Again, pardon me. What would have been wrong with that cover? What's wrong with that? It's a cool band shot. They still look cool.
I don't. Nobody has answers, Brent. That's the thing. None of us have the answer.
There's your cover right there, and that would have made a swell back cover with the tunes.
I mean, honestly, at this point, why not just have a contest and let the fans,
These Frontiers will not let me do it.
Oh, give me their number. I'm making a phone call tomorrow. A very strongly worded conversation going to be happening.
Yes, if you look back to back, that's why they're so close. It's the same freaking cover almost.
Okay, great.
Except for this has got the road leading to this.
All right, what's your number 9?
Okay, you only did one, didn't you? Okay, well, I'll go.
No, I did too.
Okay, Neverland.
Yeah.
For pretty much the same reasons he said. I actually I don't hate it.
It's just nothing.
It would have been cooler if it was an ice sculpture.
I mean, again, are there not art departments?
Well, even
maybe
like when
maybe it's like the receptionist, or maybe someone's child is doing these out.
When you're talking about Seven, Josh, Seven's a better picture than this. Yeah, it looks like they just walked out of Jack's recording studio.
They probably did.
And Molly snapped a picture of him on the porch.
If you remember, off even the New York Times EP.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, but it's better than the Neverland cover. At least it's them. It's so, yeah.
Josh, number 9.
Well, just repeating ourselves here. Somewhere in California.
We're all on the same page.
Yep. So that's my number 9. There ain't nothing else to say on that. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Man in Motion. Again, it just is. It's a nothing. A great album. I would argue with anybody about that album. It's a great album. It's an album you would walk past. It doesn't grab you. Again, like we were talking earlier, when you walk through an album back in the day in the record store and you would see Kiss's Rock and Roll Over, you stopped. Like, what the hell is that?
Even Dangerous Toys, which was a terrible band, that clown, you had to look at the album cover.
Yeah, look. But Man in Motion's like, there you go. Moving on. It's like your Dawn and Dusk album you got, Josh.
Even Pat Benatar's, even Pat Benatar's Get Nervous with that crazy-ass baby butt, which was Myron Grombacher's kid. That's who that was on the that was his kid on her button.
My number 8 is Don't Let Up. I can't add anything that Brent hasn't already said, except for I actually have friends of mine who they're not Night Ranger fans. They kind of give me a little ribbon every now and then because I talk so much about Night Ranger. And one of my friends even said, "What the hell is that album cover about?" And I said, I don't know. He goes, "Is the album got a lot of car-based songs?" I said, No, not one. Just
the Don't Let Up symbolizes don't take your foot off the gas. That's what that's.
You think
the creativity? So? Yeah, I believe that's what the Don't Let Up means on. I think that's what the artist's interpretation is. When they said we're going to call the album "Don't Let Up," okay, let's get you in the studio. We'll take a band shot.
I mean, I don't have a better idea. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Just like it's just a drawing of cars. Like hell, you could have taken that famous shot of all of them leaning against their BMWs. At least that's a real picture of them against real car. I don't know. I get irritated. It's like talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My blood pressure goes up. It's not worth it.
What's your 7?
I just did 2, so now we need to go to you.
Oh, you did
right?
2? All right. Where am I at? Number 8. Mine's the greatest hits. Again, we're just kind of repeating ourselves. As much as I was looking forward to a album cover that showed them in a factory,
they delivered that.
It missed the mark. But again, it's halfway up the list just because I don't know. It's I don't know. It's less horrible. Yeah, it's the Big Life photo, and they look like they used a lot of blush on their cheeks and everything. But I guess there's a factory. So when it comes to Night Ranger having just a factory on the album cover somewhere,
it might be something in Frisco. To be honest with you,
I don't know. They don't ruin.
Brent, I love you, Brent, and your ability to reach for something.
Don't ruin my illusion. Just let it be a factory, because that right there puts it above half the other Night Ranger albums. So my number 8.
That's it's the famous Spark Factory where they shoot all the videos at.
I don't know. I don't care.
Every '80s video had the.
I don't care. I will never think of Greatest Hits album cover again, so I don't care. Brent, what is your number 8?
Okay, I've got a new entry into the mix here.
Finally,
it hasn't come up yet. I admire the effort. There was some effort for the cover. But I'm gonna explain my problem with it. Okay.
All right.
My number 8 is feeding off the mojo.
All right.
Okay, well, Josh, when you were talking about Rocks Japan or whatever, and how it was centered after one person. Well, the first time I saw Gary Moon, he had that hat on. So I've always related this to him as the Night Ranger in the album cover. And I felt they were trying to, I mean, this has been, when did this album come out?
95.
So since 1995, there's a hat.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm like, why did they put Gary Moon on the cover?
Well, that is not Gary Moon. That is,
I know, as we've learned that, through,
it actually has more connection to Eddie's coming out tonight.
Yeah.
I know it does, but I'm saying, but this was my interpretation of it, and I'd rather look at the factory.
Yeah. I will disagree with you on that one. But
no, but I mean,
it's your list. You can put it.
Well, no, I mean, but I think they did a good job of trying to do something different, and it's different.
Yeah.
But I always, like I said, and it's not Gary Moon's fault, unless Gary Moon planned on wearing that hat in every damn picture. I mean, because I'm sorry, but that's him.
All right, what's your number 7?
Oh, my number 7?
Yeah, that was your 8, right?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shamil, Shamazel, Hasafep Incorporated. They're going back to the factory.
Oh.
And what I love about this, even more than the cover of the factory, is the very bad printing on the back of just the steam at the very bottom. It almost looks like finger smudges.
I can't see anything.
Here, can you see the little white?
It's blurry.
See the little white dots?
Yeah.
What's that white dot?
I can't
go to bed. Yeah, and then they. I mean, you barely see them on the back there, and then they had to put the pink bars around the songs to make it stand out. It's just very bad representation of a band that has the greatest hits. But at least they're all on the cover, and that's why I'm a guy that likes my bands on the cover. So
there you go.
That's why it ranked higher than Mojo too.
Josh, you have a number 7.
Big Life. Yeah, I mean, just for the fact that they're on the cover puts it above everything else we've listed. But it's like looking at a picture of my parents.
Yeah.
The only rocker that really looks like a rocker is Jeff Watson.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're on a soundstage or something with or a thrift store, an antique store, or something. There's just a whole bunch of junk around. There are 2 different covers, yes, but yeah, just it's a spruced up 7 cover, basically.
Yeah. Well, so you'll appreciate my number 7 and my number 6 are 7 and then Big Life. So it's like you said, it's like Big Life is a spruced up 7. I mean, it's you can interchange them. I don't care. Like you said, they're on the cover. I'll take that. 7 is the number 7 for me. It looks like they were at Gatlinburg and had old timey photos done. Okay, great, yay. Use sepia tone or whatever. Big Life. It's I got nothing to add. It's just I don't understand it. I get excited, and at that age we're out hanging out with our friends, and I'm like, man, they look at the new Night Ranger album, and they're holding up Motley Crue, and they're holding up all these other badass albums. I'm like, there's Big Life. There you go,
man.
So there you go.
You disappoint me.
7 and Big Life. So Josh, what's your
friend.
number 6?
My number 6 would be Man in Motion. I don't hate it as much as you guys.
I don't hate it.
You guys hate it. It's you put greatest hits above it and everything.
I
else.
did not.
Whatever.
I complimented the photography.
Well, I ain't gonna it's a sunset. But when it comes to I like simplicity a lot of times in my designs. So I like it. I like the black, the purple, and then just the sunset. The only thing I probably don't like about it is that little dude doesn't really look like a human. It looks more like a little alien walking than anything. So it's like you can't even get the dude right. Like to me, it's almost leave the dude off. If you can't
I'm sorry, because I put it in the artwork a lot of the times.
At this point, whatever. I'm cool with it.
But it's because it's a play on the words, a man emotion, fans emotion.
But yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like was the dude didn't look quite right. But other than that, I mean, I like I like the black and the yellow and the purple, and I like the elongated logo. I'm cool with that. So. Yeah, I got it ranked a little bit higher than you guys, so that was my number 6.
Brent, do you have a 6?
Elongated logo. God, that was wrong. The first time they did it, my number 6 number is 7. I like it. It's got the band on the cover. I like bands on the cover. I don't have a problem with any of it. Fitz looks cool. Jeff's looking off like he'd rather be somewhere else.
The only thing that album cover is missing is someone doing this, like the worst part Rockstar pose. That's the only pose that's missing.
I think if Kelly were not sitting the way he's sitting in the picture and everybody else standing, he's kind of got a Peter Criss thing going on there,
maybe.
And I think it takes away from what the other guys are doing.
When Fitz is the coolest one in the picture.
Fitz looks cool in the picture.
You might have some issues, and he's not even cheating. It's not like he's wearing scrubs. It's like
old logo.
So,
yeah. But yeah, and in the picture, put him on the back. I don't know what's on the back of the American one. I don't have the American one
either.
I think it's the same thing, but yeah, but it's the back. I don't. Not too.
I mean, I would rather they use a stage shot. At least take a live shot of them in action or something.
To me, it would just be awesome. If you just did the Night Ranger like let's do a black black background, kind of like what they did in the booklet. But let's just do that in the background, and the Night Ranger logo at top, and then just the number 7, like in like a red and black or something, like right there. 10 seconds of thought, something I've never thought about before. Better. But,
it should have been called 8.
Yes, it should have, but it
should have been called 8. I will forever agree with that.
But so what's your number 5?
My number 5, it pains me to put this here because I do like it. And right now I'm kind of wondering if I should change it out real quick, but I'm not going to. Would be Dawn Patrol. I think it's cool, especially for the time it came out. I especially love Fitz's acting in the back with him being all stiff, like when he does certain things in pictures. I think he just cracks me up.
Yeah. That shocks me. You got it that low, but
But it's not. It's about the music. You know, I don't. I mean, we're top five now, so it's in my top five. So that's
yeah.
why. But it probably should be at least three, and it's not. So, and I'll explain when I get there. So,
Josh, do you have a 5?
My five would be, and this is where it started getting a little bit harder.
yeah,
Was probably Midnight Madness. I like the back cover more than the front,
Right.
and not that I don't like the front.
But I agree with you. Back cover's awesome.
Just the front cover. We're lucky that they still look okay. I mean, you know how pictures from the '80s. We're lucky they weren't in the Seven Wishes outfits. You know that
Oh,
would
yeah,
have,
the Bumblebee
suit.
outfit.
but we're Night Ranger fans. And I think sometimes when you look so close to something, you don't even see it anymore. But like Fitz in the scrubs,
That's beautiful.
Dude, scrubs rule. But if there's someone who's not a fan of the album's out, it doesn't matter what the album cover looks like. They go to the scrubs. Why is this a nurse? Is this their doctor? Yeah. And it'd be okay if they were all making that point, you know. But you got these rockers and then a dude in scrubs. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of iconic. It's their best, it's their best album and everything. But if we're just ranking covers, that kind of throws it off a little bit. And there's not much going on the, it's just them. That's fine. But it, as we can tell, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. So, that's my number 5.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I remember seeing Prince for the first time and seeing their keyboard player in scrubs. I'm like, fucking copier. Yeah. Now, the doctor might have been, I think that's what his handle was, the doctor, his name. Yeah. He might have done it first. I don't know. But I saw Fitz do it first, so.
He's a tracer.
So his mom's a tracer.
All right, for me, number 5 is the Feeding Off the Mojo album. I really like this album cover. I think it's eye-catching. I always go back to that when you're walking through a record store. That one would have caught my eye. It's not in my top 5 albums, but I think that cover's fantastic, and I get a kick out of it. And mass kudos to them. It was something that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't totally get it. Josh kind of explained where the idea came from. Okay, makes even more sense now, but I just thought it was a cool cover. So Feeding Off the Mojo is my number 5, and my number 4 is Midnight Madness. Josh just touched on it. I agree. I think the back cover's better. I would have much rather seen the back cover as the actual cover, but I like that album cover. It's a little busy. It's got the members of the band, and
the back cover's very Kiss, in my opinion.
And I mean, younger people, they need to remember we didn't have access to see our rock bands as easily as you do now. Magazines, album covers. I mean, Brent and I, of course, grew up staring at our Kiss Alive and Kiss Alive 2 album covers because they opened up in a gatefold. That was all we could see.
Yeah, and your imagination then took care of the rest,
So when you have the guys on the cover of the band back then, it was cool because I could look at Jack and Brad. I'm like, yeah, man, they're cool. I want to have hair like Jack Blades. And, of course, that didn't work out. But
you tried.
Anywho.
We all tried.
Midnight Madness is my number 4. Josh, what would be a 4 for you?
And the back of that album, I think it was Brad. I had that album one time, probably getting signed, and Brad was pointing on the back. Like that was our tour manager, and this was this person. So like they knew those people. Some of those people on the back.
It is very Kiss-esque. I mean, like I said, it's like a fantasy world where each person has a different thing going on.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And that was real kryptonite too, by the way. A lot of people think it's just a prop, but it was actually real stuff. My number 4 is Mojo, Feeding Off the Mojo. Number 1, it's again the competition isn't that great when it comes to Night Ranger. it's actually, to me, it's a little bit ahead of its time because you know how big Marvel and DC are now. The guy that drew that, Sean McManus, he has drawn for both Marvel and
I didn't know
DC Comics. I think at the time he had, now I could be wrong on this, at the time he'd only drawn for Marvel. And then afterwards he did Marvel and DC Comics. So they, and then now we know how big Marvel and to some extent DC Comics are. So you have that, and plus think about when it was released in '95. Everything's grunge, black, white, dark covers, and
blurry covers.
This is vibrant.
To me, and at least they took the chance. And we'll talk more about the album cover in the Mojo episode, but yeah, it was more, it was a combination of a few things, but there was supposedly a guy in San Francisco when Night Ranger started out, and kind of had this, no one knew who he was at night and stuff, and we'll get into that story a little bit, but so they were kind of basing it off that, and it was a little bit based off of Eddie's Coming Out Tonight, and if you look in there, they trademarked that character in there to eventually use it, and that's what he's doing. If you look at his fingertips, he's spreading Mojo, basically. The story of how that feeding off the Mojo line comes about is great. If we get Gary Moon on, I'll let him tell the story. But it's one of those. It's one of those stories. It's just like, hey, I'm at the airport and then something happens, and it's.
Well, let me piggyback on what you're saying about the comic book, Josh. Because when you said that, it really kind of clicked with me because I'm a comic book collector. And yeah, well, I still have my collection. I'm not buying them anymore because I just don't collect anything anymore. But the point is I was always drawn towards kind of comic book stuff, and I didn't think about that till you said that, and I was like, that kind of clicks with me too because I just didn't even think about it. And probably subconsciously made me like that album cover a little better because it does look very comic bookish.
Yeah, I mean, they went and got someone that, like I said, I think he was working for Marvel Comics at the time. I know he's done.
Well, DC's better, so.
I know he's done some like Aquaman stuff, and I can't think of one of the other big ones he did. I think he did something with Spider-Man as well with Marvel. But but anyways, that is my number 4.
Brent?
Okay, first of all, the reason I said used to be, so that way you're not getting hit up with questions. Hey, Andy, did you buy the new issue of this? Because it's always going to be no at this point, people. So that's why I was backing you up on that. I was saving you from that.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I don't collect anything anymore, so.
No. Just dust.
Yeah, years, wrinkles.
This album cover is, I love this album cover. By all intents and purposes, it should be number 1. But we're going with number 4 on it. This album cover is a culmination of everything up until this album cover, which would be High Road.
Oh, dude. Number 4?
The caveat is...
This is where I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
The caveat is I like the bands on the cover.
Come on.
And that little picture that's right here on the bridge of them from 7 ain't cutting it. Or no, 7's here in the newspaper. A picture. But there's a picture of them on the bridge there too.
Yeah.
No, I think the album cover is great. Like I said, the first picture we got was an alternate picture that didn't have all this, and all you saw was in the spotlight was a Night Ranger logo. And then when this came out, I was shitting golden bricks, and immediately sent that message. Andy, did you see this? Oh my God, did you see this? And did you see this? And like I said, even San Francisco's in the background, and my contingency is that's feeding off the Mojo. It even honors that. You can all say I'm wrong, but that's Frisco on Mojo, and that's Frisco there, so therefore it honors that cover. But
What's your number 3 then?
My number 3 is Midnight Madness. I have no problem with the cover. Like I said, Fitz is in the scrubs. Brad's in his Randy Rhoads looking kind of shirt. It's cool. I remember staring at this thing for hours, and then staring at the dust cover inside, dust sleeve. And I remember going right to the liner notes and going, they better thank Gene and Paul. And of course they did, because, they were on the tour prior to this album. But no, got great memories of Midnight Madness. I had noticed immediately they had changed the logo, because that was my OCD kicking in back when I was a kid. So, number 7, Midnight Madness.
Josh, number 3.
My number 3 would be High Road. And it's just amazing they can put that much effort into an album. And
yes,
2 years earlier, we got 24 Strings. The next album, we got, Don't Let Up, basically. Yeah, it's just how do you get, who did that album? And why did, I guess we could look on the liner notes.
Why
and
not
stuff.
keep them on payroll?
Yeah.
Well, they really put some thought into it, like I said.
So, and to me, they missed an opportunity where you could have released that, because they released that in High Road they released High Road and Don't Let Up on vinyl, sold out 500 copies in no time. And it's like, you could have re-released that with a color vinyl and did that original cover that Brent was talking about without all the little hidden.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're not familiar with it, on High Road, there is references to every album cover prior on the album. So you can see an airplane in the sky that's the bomber from Seven Wishes, and the dude that's on the grappling hook or whatever on the back of Midnight Madness is coming down on the bridge. So each album is represented.
Yeah, he's in the window with a bow and arrow, I think.
So everything's represented. It's cool. So that's my number 3.
All right. My number 3 is Seven Wishes. Love this album cover. It's cool. There's a theme. They're in a bomber plane. Come on, man. Come on. That's a cool album cover. So that's it. I mean, the album cover ties into the videos, too. I mean, that's how cool this is, to me. It might be lame and cheesy, but for a young Andy Parker, that was pretty cool.
The only thing I don't like is when they use it on, like, the back of Greatest Hits now, or I think on Amazon Music. The photo they use is from Seven Wishes, where they're all dressed up as World War II aviators.
Yeah.
So if, like, you're not, hey, I'm just going to go listen to Night Ranger, or you buy the Greatest Hits, not knowing anything, you're like, well, what was that their thing?
Yeah.
So,
well, and again, it doesn't make any sense as far as Seven Wishes. I mean, it would have made more sense
Dave's Seven Wishes
to just have a giant Aladdin's lamp. I mean, that would have made even more sense. But that's not the point. Is I like this album cover.
No, I like it. Yeah.
And number 2 for me, circling back around, is High Road. And again, I have it so high because the brilliance of the artist who hid all those little nods,
Easter eggs.
The Easter eggs. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Brilliant. And again, it's like you had someone put this much work into an album, and then you just nothing. No other album's going to be this cool. Come on, man. This was almost my number 1.
Yeah.
For that reason. It's just a beautiful album cover, and I love them for it. I thank whoever designed that. It's brilliant.
Do you recall me emailing you like every time I find something different?
Absolutely.
I
thought it was awesome because, it was fun to stare at an album cover again.
It was fun, yes.
Just to stare at it. So yeah, High Road is number 2 for me. I don't know if you want my number 1 now, or do you want me just to wait?
Well, I'll do my number 2.
Your 2? Okay.
My number 2 would be Dawn Patrol. Just a little bit iconic.
Yeah.
The satellite dishes and the lasers. It's just basically that's it. It's just kind of an iconic album, and basically they did a good enough job and didn't overdo it and left it alone and didn't screw it up. So that would be my number 2.
I don't disagree with you, Brent.
Well, I want to elaborate on that. I want to ponder a question to both of you. Looking at the Dawn Patrol album cover, do you think, looking off in the horizon, do you think for any reason they thought, hey, why don't we do the horizon and that can kind of tie into Dawn Patrol? Do you think there was any thought behind that at all? I mean, see what I'm saying?
That's a sunset.
That's a sunset on Man in Motion.
That's a sunset. They actually named the album wrong. Should have been Sunset Patrol.
yeah, I know.
Dusk Patrol, baby.
But actually, it could be the sun rising.
No,
that's.
I would say when we talk about input, I would say at that point they probably have the least amount of input just because they're a newer band.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the after effects of this album. Do you think that's where Man in Motion's idea came from? Kind of trying to tie it back in with the early sound with the sky. I mean, I wonder, or if it's just a coincidence.
I
don't. That's you putting more thought into it than they ever put.
I'm just looking. I just started looking at it. I'm like,
I think you're limited on what you can do with the words "Man in Motion." So you're, how do you
the only thing they could have done was use that little print of the naked man, with his legs spread, standing.
Well,
the Vitruvian Man by Da Vinci.
Yeah.
Well, open up Van Halen Balance and look at the CD. That's what they did. Which I wouldn't have been a bad idea, but I think that's probably, to me, in my opinion, that's all right. We like Man in Motion. How do we tie that in? And all right, we got a dude in motion, sunset. Makes sense. We're done. But was that your number? Is Dawn Patrol your number 2?
That was yours. I was just asking. I was elaborating.
Brent, what's your number 2? And then
my number
2
1 would be 7 Wishes.
Yes. Look at that. It's beautiful, man. It
is absolutely stunning. The artwork is fantastic. How everybody's got a little role in the plane and Brad's pointing. Of course, Jack could be the gunman. And if you look closely, Fitz has got the little radio headset on back there, flying the plane. Just super cool.
Yeah, I do not disagree. Do you have a number 1?
My number 1 is Josh's favorite, Big Life. I don't have a problem with the cover. Yeah, they're all cropped in there. I think Jack looks cool as shit. I think Fitz's little jazz beanie cap is the worst part about the whole thing. I don't have a problem with the studio set. I think Big Life's a cool album cover, especially the original version of it.
I like the backdrop. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Looks like even the back of the cover is cool.
No, come on, no, that's not.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Put that back up, Josh. Look at the back of this cover. Josh, look at this.
Yeah, look.
Well, that's a photo.
If you look closely, that road that is on somewhere in California, it's right there between Jeff and Fitz.
Oh gosh,
it could be, but that's where the photo session came from for the greatest hits, right there. I mean, all of this, but that's it. So, Big Life is my number 1 cover.
It's like Greatest Hits is a rejected picture from that photo session.
Well, no, it's and
it was all done by Owen Mills at Eastgate Mall.
Well, but they were all cropped together. See, they were all individually just like You Kiss Lick It Up. They're not all 4 standing there together.
Again, a shitty album cover.
Well, Vinnie Vincent's a mannequin on that cover, don't you?
You're using the word man loosely on that one.
Mannequin. His body, that is a mannequin's body, supposedly dressed up, and there's pictures you can see where there's a pole between the legs, and they airbrushed the pole out, and they just cropped his head and put a wig on him.
Why?
He denies it, but somebody that was close to the band at the time was there.
Why? Why would they do that? It just doesn't make any sense.
Supposedly he wasn't there.
Oh,
So they
Jesus.
just dressed the mannequin up.
That's another whole thing. Vinnie Vincent, what a douche nozzle.
They need the whiz, Vincent. They'll sue. Be careful.
Josh!
And you're close by now.
I'm not afraid of Meredith.
Ooh.
7 Wishes.
Number 1 for Josh is Seven Wishes, coming in hot.
It's it's iconic. You know, it's their biggest album. It's got a good look to it. I got the girl tattooed on me. It's on the album cover. So yeah, and I mean they even did
Plus, a lot of. It was your first show.
Yeah, and they did a lot of, good tie-in stuff with it. Like the hype sticker was a little thought bubble, like they do in comic strips. So the hype sticker.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'll throw a picture of it up. But
yellow,
so it was yellow, and it was where it says
red writing
contains faces. I think was one of the songs. Whatever, Sentimental Street and Goodbye.
I'll be right back. I got something else. Keep going.
So
yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, it was my number 3. Again, 3, 2, and 1 for me are just kind of. I put some thought to it, and I had to put them in a certain order, and I love the album. It just it's great.
The only thing is, like I said, the lasting impact of it though is, like I said, if you go to Amazon Music, what's the photo? That's the huge photo that's on your TV. It's them as World War II aviators. It's like It has nothing really to do with Night Ranger, just for that time period.
What do you got for us, Brent?
Well, not only did they have cool thought bubbles, they had cool promo items for the album as well.
Look at that.
Someone,
you gonna give that to me?
Someone just posted that on the page today.
Now, what's sad is, I have it. It's a desktop stand-up. The record store ripped the easel part off the back, and they had it taped to the wall.
Oh,
so
idiots!
I mean, you could easily put an easel on there, but again, 3D, very cool. But when you were talking about that, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have brought that in.
Yeah,
when we're talking about new things, new old things.
There you go, hero.
I was cleaning my garage up and I found this in a box. I knew I had it. I just didn't know where it was.
I remember you having that when you showed it to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember you having that.
I walked into Camelot Music and went, I gotta have that. And the girl goes, take it.
Damn it. Actually,
it was that simple.
James Brown. Yeah, but anyways, it's maybe a newer member. I think he's posted a couple of things. I'm actually getting ready to approve his post. Came across this while cleaning. It's seen better days. Got this at my local Harmony House back in the day after they were finished promoting 7 Wishes, and I just
same thing, huh?
Yep. So just approved it.
Oh,
that's funny. And I found mine cleaning 2 weeks ago.
Andy, what is your number 1?
Number 1 for me is the iconic Dawn Patrol. It just. I know I'm a simpleton. It just means a lot to me, that album. It's not the greatest design I've ever seen, but it's something that means something to me, and I think it's a cool cover. Much better than most everything else they've done. I could have easily flipped High Road and made that my number 1, but Dawn Patrol, almost like. And I'll tie this back to Kiss because we haven't done that enough. Kiss's Dress to Kill album is very meaningful to me. Is it their best album? No. Is it their best album cover? No. But that album holds a very special place in my life, and so does Dawn Patrol. So Dawn Patrol is number 1 for me because it brought me to a band that I would have never. Well, Brent, had it not been for those 2 things, that's just awesome. So. And who doesn't love a satellite dish on the cover?
So we all stuck with the classic era for our number 1, 7 Wishes, Big Life, and Dawn Patrol.
Yeah. And Josh, I knew yours was going to be 7 Wishes, and Andy, I knew yours was going to be Dawn Patrol.
Did you really? I
totally did. That's what I was guessing before this episode happened.
Mine was almost High Road. I mean, High Road's number 2 for me because I think that is a brilliant album cover.
Well, because High Road has all of it.
Yeah.
And that's why it was almost number 1 for me.
But at the end of the day, I always will bow down to, I guess, the first taste of something I got, and that was Dawn Patrol was everything. I mean, that changed so much for me musically. So
yeah, like I said, and you can tell like what albums are important to us. I get Josh likes to mock me. I love this album. You guys know I love this album.
Yeah.
And I've just always had a close connection to it. Don't know why, it's just I have. Dawn Patrol's a better album, but I have a very close connection with that album.
Sure. There you go.
Well, I'd say if you're out there listening, if you want to post your entire list, that's great. But what I would probably say is post your bottom 3. At least post your bottom 3 and your top 3. If anything, post your bottom 3, because I think that's probably going to be more interesting than
holding the sun.
Yeah, just actually your bottom. Yeah, just holding the sun's going to be there. I'd just be interested to see where people rank, like Neverland and some of that stuff. But yeah, just post some of your favorites on the YouTube page or the on the Facebook page. If you go to Facebook,
just use the caveat that you can't use Hole in the Sun twice. If you're gonna do a bottom 3, you can't do what we did. You can't use Hole in the Sun twice. I'm getting a cramp.
Oh, dude!
Right.
At 4:10 in the morning, I woke up with a Charlie horse in my calf.
I got no plug.
All right, so it's worth it if you get on here and just go to YouTube alone to watch him getting a Charlie horse. So I'm going to go ahead and take us out of here. So there's our list. If you're listening to us on YouTube, leave your list, hit subscribe, go to the Facebook page. Just if you haven't been there, go to just type in Night Ranger Fans in Motion. You'll see us. Click like. We'll add you to the page.
Leave your reviews.
Yeah, if you're listening to, send us a post and let us know where you're listening to us at. If it's on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or the old-fashioned YouTube. So on behalf of Brent there and Andy,
Charlie,
who is over there, acting his age.
Here he comes.
Come on, Crip. All right, and with that, I think you know what it is Jack didn't like his list, and he's got a voodoo doll. Jack does, and he's poking Andrew there. All right, so with that, Brent, say goodbye, and we're out of here.
Thank you, Fans in Motion. Take care.
Bye.